So you see friends around you killing it in real estate, and you want to get started. The Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing. My name is Gary Wong from GaryWongRealty.com. I'm the author of the book on Vancouver real estate. Once again, I'm here with my business partner, VIP client, and great friend, Peter Leung. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Gary.
And Peter and I have been shooting a series of videos on wealth and money. If you missed some of the other videos, click in the video somewhere or in the description below. And we've been talking about how billionaires invest and what to watch out for and secrets of money. So watch the other videos if you haven't. In today's video, we're talking about the Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing. I work with a lot of real estate buyers and investors, and there is a difference between buying real estate and investing in real estate. So let's dive into it. So Peter, start us off. What do you think? People come in and go, oh, I'm investing in real estate, and they're just buying a bunch of properties. What is the difference?
Well, at the end of the day, the first things first, right? We all want to own more real estate, right? Well, certainly I do, right? And a lot of the people who want to invest in real estate, they want to acquire assets that are for long term, right? I'm not talking, there's a lot of people who want to buy, renovate and flip. Those are not what I call real estate investors. Those are not the high net worth. They're looking for something that will last for a long time in the portfolio, right? How do you when you make money in real estate, it's a lot of times it's buying into a profitable venture, right? So you make most of your money through the buying process, actually. You want to pick out investments that are going to last for generations to come. So when I look at property, I don't look at property going, well, how much is it worth today? What is it going to be worth tomorrow? I look at it and go, is this asset going to last for years to come? Is this going to be an asset people are going to rent? That's also residential, that's commercial, right? It's not just, buying into something that's the now thing, because in 10 years, that could be out of style. So
it's not about the buy, reno, and flip. As people watch HGTV and other shows and they go, oh, that's a good real estate investment. I should just buy a
That's a good real estate project. There's a difference between a project and an investment, right? How do I look at, perhaps you should be looking at how to buy, renovate, and hold for the next 10, 20 years. Right? Because that is going to be, you have artificially or with your ability, with your skill, with your high income earning skill, able to actually bring up the value of the property, and now you can hold that property for the next 20 years much less expensive than if you had bought a fully done building. That is what a real estate investor would look at. Oh, can I buy a similar asset? Can I have this asset rented and somebody paying for it over the course of the next 20, 30 years? So don't always just buy in the now thing.
So then most buyers come to me and they're like, Gary, I want to invest in real estate. Should I buy reno and flip? Should I buy and hold? Should I buy in this area? Should I buy in that? I don't know how to get started. Oh, I bought my first place. Now what do I do? What would you say to that?
I would say evaluate properties as an asset and not as your home. I see a lot of people, they look at investing in real estate like they were going to live in it. Well, it's true. I mean, I certainly take a little bit of that stance where I look at, is this something that works for me? Is this, again, is this something that I feel and know in terms of my analysis, in terms of my due diligence, identify as a good investment? Is this going to produce returns for me year in, year out, right? And not turn into a liability where I pay into it year in, year out. So back in my day of being in the restaurant business, Gary, one particular person, a restaurateur that's been in the restaurant industry for many, many years, he said this to me. He goes, Peter, the last thing you want to do in restaurants is to lose money each and every month, even if it was $1. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, Peter, it's absolutely imperative, because if you lose money day in, day out, you'll lose the drive, you'll lose the passion, and your holding time is going to be gone. And that applies a lot actually into real estate. You want to make sure that you can ride through whether the market is up or down. If you have to sell your property when it's down because you're going, well, I'm not getting rent, I'm losing money, and it's a negative equity, you're probably going to get rid of it. But what goes down must come up. And as time goes on, your property is going to be worth more money. People have told me, buy and hold forever, right? There's a lot of successful real estate investors that look at buying and holding forever.
Correct.
Like, do you see that?
A lot of them say like, yeah, we want to buy and hold forever. But most of the people that I come across from, they're just trying to get started and they're looking for the perfect investment property and they're looking for something that positive cash flows and they're going to make money every month, and then they feel like they're looking for something that is not that common in the Vancouver real estate market. So would you suggest them to go elsewhere, or we're talking about the beginner real estate investor, like they own their own home but they've never actually touched in the real estate investing field?
Well, first, again, going back to it, you have to learn, right? You have to take the time, whether meeting with a professional like yourself or learning about real estate from a mortgage broker or learning it from a banker. You have to understand, what you're buying into, right? Don't just buy into the hype, because that's not going to work over the long term. You don't even know why you did it, right? A lot of times you don't even know why you bought it. Well, that runs into a problem, because you're going to lose that passion very quickly. You're going to lose that, a comprehensive view of analysis on your property. What you want to be able to do is look into your local area, right? Know your area, know what you can get your hands on, right? How can you be invested, be in the market?
Based on their budget as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't go, way above your means. Well, as a matter of fact, the rules don't let you, right? The rules and regulation are designed to protect, right? So what I would say, invest in property that allows you to treat it like a property, not your home, right? So look for the things that cash flow. Sometimes they're the ones that don't look all that good, right? They're not the ones that smell the best, right? I certainly have invested into properties around the world where I walk in, I want to walk out, right? But those are sometimes the hidden gems. Those are the ones that I would look at, and as a value investor, I'd look at.
So speak to those investors who keep looking at properties that make sense, but they're like, oh, I don't like the area, and I don't like the smell, and I don't like the condition of it. Speak to those investors.
Well, I look at the fundamentals, right? So when it comes to real estate, I look at, is there that rental demand, right? So that is the first thing for me. If there is no rental demand, generally I don't get into it, right? But there's definitely many types of real estate investors. There's highly speculative ones. For me, I am very keen on positive cash flow, but positive cash flow doesn't necessarily come from day one. It may come 5 years down the road when you've paid off some of your equity and the growth has existed. So
that's a great point, because people are coming to me and they're like, well, Gary, I'm negative in the first, like in my cash flow. The rent doesn't cover the mortgage, strata fee, property tax, all that. So should I invest in it? And then a lot of them just say, no, I'll wait. And then they end up waiting years and years and never getting into the market.
Well, getting involved in the market for the most part is already one big step, right? And not being in the market, everything is irrelevant to you, right? Whether it goes up, down, sideways. So make sure that you're able to invest, right? And get in the market when you can, right? Get involved, make the best decisions that you're capable of. Yes, it might be a little bit, $200, $300 negative in that, case by case. But what I can say, that's why you're saving. So you're saving that $200, $300, that's within your budget. That's like you investing. Well, now guess what? You can put that towards the property, right? And you're able to last that over the long period of time, because properties do grow. People do need the rental. And if you know the market, then you need to identify whether there is a demand for that rental. Can you collect that cash flow? Can you sustainably get that over the next 10, 15, 20 years? Because if you can, the property's paid off. And usually, we did a thing on whether it makes sense more to buy or to rent. But at the end of the day, that usually is a tipping point where the first couple years, yeah, it might be a little bit better to rent, but eventually it may be better to buy. So identify what your goals are, where you want to be investing in. And as a matter of fact, assets, like I say, grow whether we work at it or not. We only have 16 hours a day. Make sure your money is working for you.
So a couple steps for the beginner: talk to a professional like myself. What's the next step? Talk to a mortgage professional?
In real estate, absolutely.
Right? And then also write down your goals. Where do you want to focus on? Choose an area. That's right. And a lot of them, they say, well, the area that I invest in is too expensive. And then I usually suggest some place like, oh, why don't you choose farther out? But I don't know that area. It's like the boony land, and they come up with all these reasons why not to invest and go outside of their comfort zone. So what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, this is where the work comes in, right? There is no free lunch. I've never been perceived that, you know, again, going back to my roots of working hard, you have to identify if you can't achieve that today. Well, how else can you do that? Yes, it might be in a different area, but would you recognize in a different area that there's also rental? Absolutely. Right? I've invested into UK or into Southeast Asia where it is not my natural area, but that's where you have to identify what your goals are, what you can achieve, and you go knock them down one at a time. Yes, it might be in a different area, but that's where you need to find people like yourselves that are professional in what you do and choosing the areas that still meet within their goals. It might not be, if you live in a certain area, yeah, it might be $5, $6, $10 million before you can be invested in that area. Well, you have to start somewhere. And if you just keep waiting for that $10 million property to become $1 million, you're gonna have to wait a very, very long time.
And chances are by the time that happens, which it may never happen, you just lost a bunch of time.
Yeah, and we all have limitations on that.
So the beginner's guide, basically talk to a professional, know your area, know your budget, know your goals, and also step outside of the inner conflict and inner dialogue that you have. Roll up your sleeves and really get your feet wet. On one hand, it's good just to rely on a professional, but I have yet to meet many people who just say, oh yeah, my realtor chooses for me and I just buy. Usually, the buyer or the investor has an input and they actually want to put in the input. So I haven't seen a sophisticated investor who doesn't do homework and just relies on the service professional, whether it be a realtor or a mortgage professional or a stock trader. Every client, sophisticated client, puts in the effort and learns a little bit about what they're investing in. Would you say, is there any other tips you'd like to add?
Well, have the long term in mind, right? Real estate is, again, going back to it, is not about get rich quick, it's about getting rich for sure, right? So you have to give it time, right? Just like anything else, money grows over time, right? Even in Bitcoin, you gotta have to wait days, months, years, weeks in order for that money to grow. You can't expect, you know, throw something in today, something out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work that way.
They want that home run every time.
Every time. And when you reach for that home run every time, guess what? You're not gonna get you're gonna have to take some risks associated with that,
yeah.
Right? In Vancouver, I see it as, you know, real estate is an asset class that can be, you know, for the long term. And that is something we need to look at.
But most people want the no risk, grand reward.
And
they want the get rich quick. They don't want to get rich slow.
And that's challenging.
There's a way to get rich quicker, but not get rich quick. So we'll talk about more in the other videos about how to get rich quicker. But hope you found value in this video. If there's any other tips or questions you have about that, write them in the comments below. Thanks for your time, Peter, and we're gonna share more in the next video, so stay tuned. I know you watch my videos to learn about real estate. So guess what? This is my #1 best-selling book, the book on Vancouver real estate. It's got insider secrets on how to buy, sell, and invest in real estate. Don't be misled by the title. The universal principles within here can be used anywhere. It retails on Amazon for $24.95, but since you've been watching my videos for some time, I'll tell you what. Click on the link in the description below, and I'll send you a copy absolutely free. Now, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and go watch these other videos.